Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ol Switcheroo. This is the irregular Nintendo podcast that we do here at the Total Screen. I'm Tyson. I'll be your host. Will is joining us today, as usual.
Hello.
And we have special guest Fried joining us over from
Game Witness.
I just brain farted on it on Game Witness, the Discord channel that we're all on.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk about E3. That's what we're doing on this podcast. We're going to be talking about Nintendo's upcoming E3, and then we'll kind of talk just about general stuff too. But I thought we'd start off just kind of go over the games that we already know exist, or that are, some of them down here on this list are heavily rumored, and some of the ones that we're talking about that exist are tied to other ones that are rumored. So we'll just kind of go over those quickly and see what we expect, if anything, from those at E3. So first off, what's got to be like the least likely of everything on this list to show up at E3 is Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah,
Do you think there's going to be anything? Do you think we're going to get like a little cinematic tease, a little logo tease again, some kind
They already did a logo tease, so no.
I want to see it again. I want to see the exact same tease.
You want to see the exact same logo, just like.
retro.
It just says now in development by Retro Studios.
Yeah.
That's the only change.
No, we're not going to see it because they literally just restarted it. So I'd be shocked if they had anything show worthy to show, unless they want to show like.
I definitely don't think they'll have anything for the game, but
some very rough, incomplete stuff.
Nintendo before in Directs has done like weird stuff where do you remember, it was after the first tease, but, Bayonetta 2. So they did the first tease, and then afterwards they did something where they just kind of walked through the studio and you saw like some models and stuff being worked on and that was it.
Yeah.
I think if they did something like that at this point, that would probably just come off as them like trying to reassure people it's being made. Like, don't panic.
Maybe they need that.
They're on it. Yeah, maybe they do that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's possible.
So, I mean, we could see something, I think more likely, tied to Metroid Prime 4, just from retro in general, is do you guys think we're going to see Metroid Prime Trilogy HD?
I think so. I think the only thing they're going to say about Metroid Prime 4, they're going to go like this. They're going to be like, Metroid Prime 4 is still in development, but in the meantime, Metroid Prime Trilogy, run trailer. And that's going to be how it's presented.
What do you think, Fred? Do you think we're going to see Metroid Prime Trilogy?
I don't know, because if Metroid Prime 4 is too far away in the distance, I don't know if it's the right call to release.
That's true, because
a trilogy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because you want to time it so that it's still fresh in people's minds when Metroid Prime 4 comes out.
Yeah, look at the gap between like New Super Mario Bros. U and I guess Mario Maker or something like that. Would be ideal.
But then again, look at what they did with Bayonetta 1 and 2.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's true.
Released that last year. So.
And now Bayonetta 3 is coming out. I don't think anybody remembers Bayonetta 1 and 2. Whoops.
We'll talk about Bayonetta 3 next, but what about Retro's other game?
It's gone.
Do you think it's gone, or do you think that they were finishing it up already anyways?
I mean, I don't know. Like the rumors were saying like some Star Fox Racing, but at this point I think that was
if that's the case, I'm sure Fried hopes it's gone.
I've always said that rumor was fake, and I think we're going to see their game, and it's not going to be Star Fox Racing.
Do you think it's going to be Donkey Kong, or do you think it's going to be something completely different?
Something different. Just from what we know about it, kind of from people who've worked on the project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Donkey Kong at all, but it's definitely something different, and hopefully not that.
By the way, Donkey Kong
will be there at E3?
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, best side-scrolling platformer of the generation.
Oh, for sure.
Buy it. but like, I don't think we're going to see anything at all from Retro, to be honest.
You think that game's gone? Whatever they were working on is just completely scrapped?
Yeah. I'm thinking like I've heard they had issues, so probably.
But what we know about Metroid Prime 4 is that Retro came to Nintendo with like a test, basically showing that they could handle the project. So I don't know how they do that without having like a guarantee that what they were working on these past 5 years is also.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they had to kind of have figured that there was room to take this project on if they went to Nintendo and said, "Let us do Metroid." They probably they had to have looked at everything and said, "Okay, yeah, we have the people and the resources required to make this."
Yeah. It's interesting because when Retro formed, they were like making 5 games at a time.
Oh, that was stupid though.
And it just completely got torn down into like a one game. And the thing is, none of the games looked particularly interesting.
No, they were. They were going to be like another Acclaim. You know, they were just going to pump out low quality.
Because they were Iguana.
Yeah, they were Iguana, who used to be owned by Acclaim, and then they spun off, and then they left Iguana and they formed Retro, and then at some point Nintendo took an interest and bought them.
I wonder how much of the original staff, like the Iguana stuff, is even there. It's got to be like almost completely different now.
Yeah, I think it's like almost about 90% new staff at this point.
Because even like when they stopped doing the whole like 5 projects thing that they were working on at the very beginning, that they never released any of them. When they were still doing that, they laid off like a huge chunk of their staff, and then after they announced Prime and started working on Prime, they started like a hiring spree, getting like different people. So even with the first Metroid Prime, like that was like a very different staff at Retro than Retro spun off initially from Iguana. So it'd be interested to kind of see, what's going on there and what they could be working on. I've always been hoping that Retro does like an original IP, but it's weird. A lot of people would say, like I know, like Mike would say, for instance, that it's not the same Retro. Like it doesn't matter. It's not even the same developer. So we don't know what we can expect from them quality wise. They're not the people who made Metroid Prime,
I tend to go by like the last game they made, and the last game they made was A+ quality. So I mean, they still got a track record. So we'll just have to see.
But in a very different genre.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously their Metroid Prime 4 demo impressed Nintendo enough for Nintendo to give them the project.
Or the other one was so bad.
Well, the other one was obviously so bad because
the other one made by probably Bamco was
they already had the project. So it had to be bad because there's no reason for Nintendo to just cancel what they were doing unless it just wasn't working out.
Speaking of Bamco, did anything ever happen with that Project Treasure game?
What is that? What are you talking about?
They had that free-to-play game that they announced.
Yes, it became Lost Reavers.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it got shut down last year probably. I got a notice on my Wii U that said we're ending service. Thank you for playing.
For some reason I thought that was announced to Switch. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a loot game. It's okay. It's bad looking. It runs terribly. No one played it, so who cares?
Yeah. Okay, so we already talked about it briefly, just in mentioning what they could do with a Metroid Prime 4 showing at E3. But Bayonetta 3 Platinum, we still haven't seen anything beyond these.
We're going to get. I think we're going to get a trailer. We're going to get a trailer. It's going to come out next year for sure.
I think the first Bayonetta was one of the few kind of games that became really popular in the West that debuted at Tokyo Game Show instead of E3. Oddly enough. The original Bayonetta.
I don't know if I would say popular. The game never sold that well.
Well, I'm just saying usually you don't see many in the last, I don't know, 15 years, we haven't seen many games that debut at Tokyo Game Show that are kind of more Western focused.
Right.
It's been more E3.
I don't know if it's Western folk. It's just Kamiya making, the crazy shit he likes to make.
Well, it's got an English voice cast as the first cast.
Oh, that's true.
Over the Japanese, so.
But it was, and it was developed for the Xbox 360 over the PS3.
Yes.
And I know the PS3 port was horrible.
But what do you think, Friday? Are we going to see anything from Bayonetta 3 at E3?
Yeah, I think you see a trailer, but I don't think it's coming out this year.
No.
I can't imagine it is. Not with Astral Chain coming.
Yeah, exactly. You got Astral Chain in the mix. Yeah. And Kamiya's too busy playing Tetris 99 to even develop things. So.
I don't think he's directing Bayonetta 3, do you?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not. He actually doesn't have a game announced that he's directing. He's involved. He's like he's like a producer on Astro Chain, but the director is like somebody else.
There's another game on PS on PlayStation that
Platinum.
Yeah, I don't know who's directing that.
The last game he was making himself, he was directing. That was Scalebound for the Xbox One, and that got canceled.
Yeah, that's the game that everybody keeps going oh, when are we going to see it pop up on a different platform or something? I haven't heard anything.
That's the one that had the rumor that it was coming to Switch, and nothing has come of it.
Yeah. It turned out to be bullshit.
So that brings us to Astral Chain. So we talked about that. Astral Chain is coming this year. It kind of popped up out of nowhere. I remember when that showed up in the direct, it looked like I kept going. I think I was on chat with you, Fried, and we were both kind of thinking it might be like Xenoblade or something.
Here's my thing. I totally think it's connected to that universe.
You think it is?
I think it'll be I guess a Metal Gear Revengeance kind of thing.
This is obviously going to be there because the game's coming out in August, so they're going to have they're probably going to go more in depth. Probably talk about the fighting system, how that works, how the 2-player cooperative works. Those systems probably give you some of the story, the enemy, just details.
They're going to give you another trailer that looks like
2 months.
Yeah. They're going to give you another trailer that looks like it spills 90% of the game when you play it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first 5 minutes when you play it.
Yeah, that's very Platinum. Man, Astral Chain looks so good. It makes me really salivate at the thought of what they're going to do with Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
They're pushing a lot out of the Switch with Astral Chain.
That's another thing with Astral Chain. It's it has open world elements that remind me of Xenoblade too, so.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna put that in my back pocket.
I did get a Xenoblade 2 vibe from watching that first trailer. Even though
as Stride and I were watching it, we were like, "Is this Xenoblade? Is it before
their faces look like they came out of Xenoblade X?"
Yeah,
that's right.
I knew it couldn't be Xenoblade or it couldn't be Monolith Soft because the action gameplay.
Once the action came on, I'm like, "Oh, this is."
This is not Monolith Soft unless they got really good at action games all of a sudden.
This is either Platinum or somebody finally fixed Team Ninja.
True. Platinum's a better Team Ninja.
Yeah. But, so we're talking about Xenoblade. Do you think we're going to see anything from Monolith Soft? Because they've had a few things in development. They've had a few things they're talking about. They've been talking about X2 being something that's probably already in development. But they've also had that other game that they've been showing stuff. The one that's now rumored to be possibly Zelda, a Zelda-related game.
Well, they're confirmed to be working on a Zelda-related game.
So. I think you'll get a logo tease at the most. But also, if it is Zelda, I don't know if Nintendo's going to want to talk about it with an actual Zelda game coming, this year. Do they want
to... Well, it's still questionable if they're making Zelda or if they're just working on a Zelda, because they worked on Breath of the Wild, too,
I think if you hear anything at all, it's going to be a logo tease, and that's it. I don't think they have anything that's in a state that's ready to be shown off.
I don't know, man. They have 2 completely separate studios, not teams, but studios, in different cities.
I feel like they have 3 now.
Well, they have multiple teams, but they have 2 studios. They have one in Kyoto and one in Tokyo.
I stand by my comment. You're not going to see anything substantial from Monolith Soft at the C3.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like Monolith Soft kind of always comes out of left field. You never expect it when it drops, the Xenoblade Chronicles X reveal happened in that one January direct.
Yeah, that took
out of nowhere
3 fucking years to get the game. 3 or 4 years before the game actually came out.
Well, then how about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was announced at the January, or
came out December.
For Switch One and came out in December.
That one January Direct for Wii U, that was weird because they announced a whole bunch of shit, and then it turned out that was everything for the Wii U for the rest of its lifespan.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that was
also Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem, which ended up coming Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah, which also launched at the end of the Wii U's lifespan. Which
But then they did the Switch announcement where they announced Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and they had that out. They did that at the Switch reveal in January, and that game was out in December.
I think what Nintendo's trying. This is also people gotta understand now is Nintendo is more consciously trying to announce things when they're closer to release. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is obviously a big exception, but then again, Nintendo didn't anticipate having to cancel that game and start it from scratch. So that is an unusual situation, but they are trying to announce things when they're closer to release rather than announce things that are going to be 3 years out,
All I'm saying is that Monolith Soft doesn't make a lot of sales on the games they release, but they've developed their own engines, and a lot of what their strategy as a developer has been recently is they've been talking about pushing up releases, getting more games out and using their technology and their assets so that they can push games out quicker. So I would not be surprised at all if Monolith Soft.
You know what I have to say to that?
Right.
We will see next week.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening HD. Do you think we're going to see anything on this? I mean, it's a remake of a known game that looks like it's pretty much spot for spot remake.
Well, yeah, obviously, this is going to be another in-depth. They're going to talk about the world. They're going to talk about the changes that they made adapting it from Game Boy to Switch. They're probably going to announce new content, like a new dungeon or something, like they did when they remade it for the Game Boy Color. They had the extra color dungeon. They'll probably add some extra content, and it's going to get a release date of December 2019. I don't know the exact day because I'm not going to make that exact of a prediction, but it's going to be December 2019.
So you think there's actually going to be a fair bit in the Direct?
Yeah, because it's coming out this year. And the only other opportunity they'd have to talk about it would be in the fall. Direct.
But do you think there's going to be anything substantial added to it? You talked about other dungeons or stuff, but I'm thinking they might do something akin to Four Swords or Three Heroes.
Yeah, I don't know
some kind of a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, I don't know what form the additional content. They could add a Four Swords multiplayer mode to it. That's very possible.
What do you think, Fred?
I don't know. I don't know much about this game to really guess what they do with it. Aside from just mentioning it release date. I don't think it's coming out in December though, because where are you gonna put Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing in September.
That early? You think?
Yeah, that early.
Damn. All right.
When have Animal Crossing games typically come out? They've been summer games, haven't they?
Let me look up when new. Yeah, let me look up new release date, because that was the last full-fledged Animal Crossing game to be released. Let's see.
You don't count Pocket Camp?
Yeah. Let's see. North America, June 9th, 2013. So that was a June game. And we know that this isn't June because it would have been announced for June by now. So
I always I have this feeling that Animal Crossing's always kind of been a summer game. So I don't know about the other releases or something, but I have kind of a vague feeling that it's always been a summer game.
Let's see. And then the one for Wii U, which this doesn't count at all, but
yeah,
it was Amiibo Festival that came out November 13th, 2015, I guess. So,
yeah, they saved that one for the holiday because, regular Animal Crossing isn't going to push systems, but
yeah, but that, hell yeah.
That's what you want to put out for the holidays.
That saved the Wii U.
Yeah. So the thriving system it is today. Let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 3. So what we got was a real kind of basic tease. We got kind of the idea that it looks like a very vertical mansion this time, or almost like a hotel.
By the way, before we move on from Animal Crossing,
okay,
I just want to say that is probably going to get some substantial coverage during the Direct.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's likely that if they do a themed show floor like they have in the last 3 years, that it's probably going to be Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that kind of makes sense. Like, you could totally see them, like, making the whole show floor look like the village, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah, if they do it.
Journalists are going to be walking up and cutting down trees.
Yeah, they're going to have to pay, like, somebody in a Tom Nook costume to just,
they're just going to
demo stations.
Like Bill Gates style, they're just going to release a bunch of mosquitoes. They're going to hand you nets. They're like, here's all the mosquitoes.
Right, exactly. So expect, people are probably going to grow, but, like, Animal Crossing is going to be the big game of the Direct. That's
It's groaning. That's great.
Yeah, right. I think that's great.
So do you think there's going to be anything substantial added to the game, considering there hasn't been since the original release on GameCube?
I don't know. I have no clue. I honestly don't know. Maybe
you can build like a. Nah, I got nothing. Forget it. I have ideas, and I don't think they're gonna add anything. I don't know. They'll probably make multiplayer easier than it has been.
Yeah.
Maybe they give you more free control of how you can design like your house, like not just the inside but the outside or something.
You can do that already.
You can?
Kind of. You can like ask for different exteriors, like a castle exterior or a mirror exterior, stuff like that. I'd like a lot more storage and the things you can create. So you can like make patterns to put on shirts and fences and stuff. But you have like 8 slots, and so sometimes you have to create multiple characters just to hold like 16 different patterns.
They just need to have a bag of holding as an item that you get in the game. So you just load it up with whatever. Okay, so on to Luigi's Mansion 3. As I said, we don't know much. It looks much more like the original than Dark Moon, like stylistically. And it looks like it's going to be back to like a singular area, like just a really large kind of hotel-like thing. It's Luigi's Mansion Trump Tower, maybe? I don't know.
What did you say? Yeah.
But we haven't really seen all that much. I mean, they kind of just, what they showed looked a lot like the original.
Yeah,
but like polished, you know?
Yeah, polished. There was some upgrades. I'm not too well versed in the Luigi's Mansion games to tell you what's different and what isn't. They did show like he does have a new backpack, ghost busting backpack, vacuum with like, some new abilities.
Well, it can't be completely the same as like the original one, because the original one was one of the games that made the best use of analog triggers.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of like flow control and stuff I don't know why Nintendo ever got rid of those analog triggers. Like, I thought that was like a really good idea. Probably more expensive.
Probably because, like, only Nintendo did it. Only the GameCube. Nobody copied it. Nobody used it. Like, I think
it did it before them, right? For the Dreamcast.
I don't recall there being analog triggers on the Dreamcast like that.
I thought they were analog triggers. I know it had triggers.
I know like the PlayStation 2 had like analog face buttons.
With like 3 degrees of sensitivity.
Yeah.
And they all have that right now, right? Like the Xbox One and PS4 controllers both have analog triggers now?
I don't think so. Like, at least not the Xbox One controller, because I know like people were telling me like, oh, Metal Gear Solid 2 HD is unplayable on Xbox because they don't have those analog buttons. I'm like, okay.
The face buttons, but I thought they had the triggers.
Oh, maybe the triggers.
Yeah.
So Fry, did you play any of the Luigi's Mansion games?
I played both of them, and I'm looking forward to this one, but I don't really know why, other than that it's not a Luigi's Mansion game, and that's cool.
Yeah, I never played the second one, but the first one was pretty fun. I remember I actually went to E3 when that was showing, when they did all the GameCube game reveals, and that was the game that I was enjoying the most on the show floor. Mainly probably because the lines for Smash Brothers were too long.
It's like a little Resident Evil game. It's kind of interesting for Nintendo, you know?
Yeah, it was really cool at a time. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they're doing with that, but we're for sure going to see a big dump on Luigi's Mansion 3, right?
For sure. That again is another game coming out later this year, so they're definitely going to talk about it. Like,
so next up we have the game that actually kicked off the last year's E3 and kind of came out of nowhere and has since had a demo and has now faded from public consciousness because the demo really disappointed everybody, and that's Daemon X Machina.
That's a game we're going to hear more about. We have to. It's supposed to be coming out like this year, I think.
Or they're just going to stealth release it because
stealth release it. I don't think so. I mean, they're probably going to more about
I wonder if this is one that gets gets delayed.
Possibly.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of the only issue I have with the game at this point is like technical. It's like it runs a little slow. I think the mechanically, like people say it's slow, but there's a lot of junk you could do with like, flying around and stuff. It feels really nice and fast, but the frame rate just doesn't keep up with it.
Right.
Yeah.
They released that beta with the intention of like taking advice into account for fixing the game, and they didn't leave a lot of time for development to make any changes.
Right.
So a delay would kind of make sense. Like they even knew they were going to delay it before, but just didn't announce that.
I have a suspicion that Nintendo is, if they're doing an upgrade for the Switch, it's going to be a power upgrade, and this would be a game that would benefit heavily for something like that.
So you think there is going to be a Switch Pro?
Right, but not announced here, but down the line, maybe when this game will have a closer release to it.
Down the line, maybe I could see that happening. I definitely don't think we're going to get a Switch Pro this year.
No.
So next up, Fire Emblem Three Houses. So we already got like a pretty significant dump of information on that.
Oh yeah, that's coming out in July. Like that's like less than a month after like E3. Or
that might be a reason why we won't see it. Just like it'll be on the show floor, but not.
No,
because they've already given so much information.
They're going to mention it. They're going to bring it up. They're going to remind people that this is a thing. They're not going to spend like a huge amount of time on it. They're just going to like they're probably just going to point out some extra things that they didn't point out before. Like maybe even some new reveals. They'll reveal like a new character that's in the game that we didn't see before. And
I almost feel like we don't need to see anything else on this. Well, we already got such a huge info dump on the last.
They're going to show you, despite what you think.
There's still a lot more they have to reveal in English. There's a lot of stuff they've been showing off in like Japanese press and on their Twitter.
Yeah,
it's all in Japanese. So just translating that into like a trailer in English would probably be sufficient.
I kind of almost feel like it's more of a game that would benefit from like being on Treehouse more than on the Direct. Like it's the kind of thing that maybe we'll see a lot of coverage of on Treehouse, but not in the Direct, And that if it is in the Direct, it'll be more in like a montage with other games that are coming up soon, Like where they'll just put that in to remind you that it's coming. Speaking of reminding that it's coming, there's a game that Will reminded both Fried and I that it even exists at all, that we'd completely forgotten about when we were getting ready for this podcast.
You call yourself a Game Freak super fan.
That's Town. So Town is still apparently scheduled for this year, and we've gotten...
Is it?
Basically, we got like one trailer that was very early.
I don't think.
And then we got a couple screenshots.
I don't think that's going to be this year at all.
Do you think it's going to be delayed?
Well, it sounds like a really small game. I don't even think it's going to be retailly released.
Maybe. I don't know. They haven't said any. Well, the problem is they barely said anything about this game other than this exists and then some screenshots of Famitsu a couple weeks ago. They did, and where they did not elaborate on it because the conversation literally wasn't about that game. It was about Game Freak as a company. And it was just, again, this exists. So they haven't really said anything other than what you can make out from the trailer and the screenshots. And also, like, the only thing they said that was concrete was that the entire game takes place in the one town.
Right.
Yeah.
The name. So
I think it's going to be pretty small. So because it's pretty small, I think it will come out this year.
I think we'll definitely get more information during the Direct. We'll actually find out what the hell exactly it is, like how it works, etc.
An actual name.
And an actual name, because Town is only a working title.
Oh, sorry. Octopath Traveler, also a working title.
Yeah.
Blade, something, also a working title. These are the names they stick with.
They get lazy. They think of things, and then they're like, oh, well, we'll come up with something better later. And then
Town's such a boring name. At least Octopath Traveler is kind of weird. And Town is such a kind of a drab name, So I imagine there's got to be something. They at least got to have like a logo, like a font for it that's not just like Times New Roman or something.
Like plain Times New Roman Town on the box. White.
That's going to be the whole box art.
I don't know. Have you seen the Pokemon box art? Game Freak's not really one for design these days. It seems like.
I like the new Pokemon box art. I think it looks
so bland and cheap. Look it up. Tell me I'm right, Tyson.
Is it?
I saw it. I thought it looked all right.
Are you talking about the double box or just the regular?
Just the regular box art.
It's a bit on the simple side, but I don't know. I think it works. You're right. I can see where you're coming from. on the simple side. It's minimalistic is what you would call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing on it. It's just the base legendaries and a white background. Yeah, they do look like they look like the kind of box arts you'd get like before the box art was done.
Yeah, like placeholder.
Yeah. Like there should be a bunch of stuff filled in the negative space, you know, but there isn't.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Town it is.
Town. So do you think this is going to be a full price game? That's another question.
Nah.
Well, I don't know enough to make that prediction. I don't know enough about the game.
The game's going to take place in a town, and the town we saw, it wasn't like it was a huge city or something, you know?
It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't mean like there isn't like a lot of content, not a lot of things to do. Like things could be procedurally generated. It could take place over the course of like a freaking year in that town, and there could be like multiple missions.
Yeah, I mean, well, they could do things like character scheduling like they do
Like
in
Majora's
Mask,
Mask had one town.
No,
Animal
kinda.
Crossing, one village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Animal Crossing is like, I've been arguing that game's not worth the price for ages.
Well, you're wrong, Newly.
Yeah.
Every penny.
But they desperately need more to add to those games, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about Town. To me, I think it's going to be like maybe a $30 game or something, and it's going to be kind of short with a cute story or something.
It's, I mean, it's true. I mean, you are correct in that Game Freak's non-Pokemon games tend to be smaller, downloadable digital games.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. We don't know until we learn more. Until next week.
So next up, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Is there really even a lot more to show for this? I mean, we kind of get the gist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could do more character reveals.
Game Informer did like the entire blowout. Like they dedicate an entire month to coverage of this game already. So I feel like, we're not going to see much. We're going to like probably get some character reveals.
I guess it's too much to hope for a complete art direction revamp.
Well, you can get DLC.
The art direction's staying.
Unfortunately, yeah. I can't imagine that they'll.
And you brought up Team Ninja earlier. This is Team Ninja.
Yeah.
This is their new game.
Yeah, I don't know. Are any of you guys excited?
I'm looking forward to it. I might buy it to play with my brother.
I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the original Ultimate Alliance. I felt like that was a fun game, so I'm looking forward to it. It's not like my most hyped game, obviously, but it should be decent fun.
It just looks so much like a C tier GameCube game.
It looks like a Muso to me, and I enjoy Muso.
Yeah. I don't know, like Ultimate Alliance was not a Muso. It was like more of a Diablo.
This is like Team Ninja, and it kind of like gives me that feel. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So next up, we have some stuff that's kind of recently been, already had like major reveals, which makes us think that there probably isn't going to be a lot more that we're going to see of them in the Direct, but that we are definitely going to be in the Direct and have a definite presence in the show.
I think we're going to get a new theme for Super Mario Maker 2, and I'm going to be bold and predict that theme. It's going to be a Paper Mario theme.
Wow. I think we are going to see a new theme. I think it's going to be a Super Mario Bros. 2 USA theme.
I hope you are correct.
Safe choice. Thank you.
I want a Galaxy theme.
That's the one I want. I want War in Super Mario Maker 2.
That'd be cool.
I want a Galaxy theme mainly because, as we've seen, the themes like the 3D World theme are a lot more than just like sprite changes, and the idea of them adding some like gravity effects to the game could really change things up.
Well, that's why Mario Bros. 2 USA is kind of like what everyone's been predicting at this point, because it's a very different game from.
Did you see
3D Mario?
Digital Foundry posted a video about Super Mario Maker 2 this morning, where they went hands on with it, and they did some comparisons between the Super Mario 3D World theme and the new Super Mario Bros. U theme, and they found like the Super Mario 3D World theme is actually like really pushing the Switch hardware. they found out that like it's really pushing the Switch hardware almost to its limit, where like because it's doing like so much stuff, and the new Super Mario Bros. Theme doesn't have like half the effects. It isn't doing half the stuff that the Super Mario 3D World theme is.
Well, I think the new Super Mario Bros. Theme is sprite based. It's like 3D rendered, but it's sprite based. And the 3D World one is using like a sprite based interface for building the levels,
right.
But the actual elements are all like 3D.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting new themes for this, right? Like Nintendo's not going to just like not release.
Well, there's that big empty spot. I don't know. Like it looks weird.
But if any company would just completely ignore that and have that be the case, that would be Nintendo, right?
Right? Yeah. We'll just have this menu with this big empty space.
Yeah.
You know, because that's good design principles. That's what they teach in design school.
And we're definitely going to get DLC, right? Because I mean, they kind of didn't do it with Odyssey, which kind of shocked everybody. Everyone's like, "Wait, why doesn't Odyssey have like DLC?" I mean, like real DLC, not like the little extras.
You know, like Mario doesn't need it, but
everybody wanted like new worlds and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not so sure about DLC for Mario Maker 2. They didn't do DLC for Mario Maker 1, and
when they did updates, they did like free updates. They did
it. Yeah, they did it. Right.
Probably something like that. Nothing paid, I don't think. That'd be
yeah.
I think if Mario Maker 2 doesn't have like paid DLC, like just added extra themes and stuff that come out over time, then that's like a big wasted opportunity.
You're already paying for the online service. That's what the game's there for. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I don't think they're gonna charge you for extra themes.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
But man, I'm hoping there's more stuff to show, but like, if there is, it's gonna be a theme, right?
Also, they like during Treehouse, I predict that they'll probably say that you can play multiplayer with friends online because apparently now you can't, and they're probably trying to rectify that real fast. Because it's insane.
It's like the weirdest thing because it's not a technical limitation.
No.
You can still play online, but just not with friends. And it's like, it makes way less sense than just playing with friends, you know, with like the whole like child safety thing, you know?
Right.
Like, no, we need a team, we need to partner up these children with random people that could be anybody. doing weird like gyrations around their character and shit.
It's so weird. I don't know why they made that decision. Like, then again, you know, like Nintendo does these.
Maybe it's to get good press right before the release. I don't know. Maybe
no, see, that'll be the paid DLC. The ability to
play with your friends. We got you now.
Okay, we've talked about it already a bit. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Not going to be mentioned. Not going to be there.
You don't think it's going to be mentioned at all?
Nope. Because Pokemon games are not. Pokemon is not an E3 thing. Pokemon has its own announcement schedule and its own. This is when we talk about Pokemon. You know, and new announcements for Pokemon either come through Nintendo Directs or they come from freaking Coral Comics. Because Coral Comics always gets the scoop.
You don't even think we're going to get like a Pokemon Sleep blowout?
No.
That's going to be the theme on the show floor. They're going to have some beds laid out.
Pokemon, like, I think Nintendo lets Game Freak and the Pokemon Company handle announcements, you know, and that's on its own schedule. So, that's why we got the Direct today instead of, like, saving this stuff for, like, E3, because Nintendo's not going to be talking about Pokemon at E3.
I think, like I said with, I believe it was, I can't remember which other game I'd mentioned that I thought was gonna, like, only show up in a montage trailer, if anything. I think if there is, like, a montage trailer of upcoming games, like, we'll see Pokemon Sword and Shield in that.
You can go back and actually check previous Nintendo Directs and see if they announced any major, besides the one where, like, they confirmed Pokemon Sword and Shield was real, but they did that because they had just announced Pokemon,
Let's Go?
No, Pokemon Sun, I forgot. Omega Sun and Alpha.
Ultra Sun, yeah.
Yeah, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They had just announced Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon for 3DS, and everybody freaking lost their shit because it wasn't on Switch, and people started, like, going on about they're not making a Switch Pokemon game. And I guess they shoved a camera in front of the Pokemon Company CEO's, like, face and said, just make a goddamn statement so people shut up. like that's literally the only time like they've announced a Pokemon game at E3.
Do you think it's going to be on the show floor at all?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I think it's gonna be like the first game they show off on Treehouse. Like they give you some great reveal, and then the first game they start off with is Pokemon.
I think the first game they're going to show on the Treehouse is going to be Devil's Third, not a remake, just the Wii U version. They're just going to play Devil's Third.
We're going to play multiplayer anyway with the Wii U. Get online.
For the entire thing, yeah. A Devil's Third remake for Switch.
There's a great idea in that game. I just wish it was better developed.
Right.
Yeah.
Itagaki wasn't a hack.
Yeah.
So next up, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're almost assuredly going to get the announcement for
yes, and this is my grand prediction. Okay, it's going to start with the trailer for Dragon Quest XI-S, a new trailer for Dragon Quest XI, and you're going to go through that, and Nintendo's going to reiterate that's coming out in September or whenever, and then it's going to end with the main character from Dragon Quest XI, Erdrick, I think it is. He's going to get like a letter, and he's going to turn it around. It's going to have the Smash emblem on it, and then it's going to launch into that announcement that he's the next DLC character.
Yeah, or they'll start it so that it looks like you're watching the trailer for Dragon Quest XI, but the entire thing will be just a trailer for him in Smash.
Right, yeah, like they did with the Animal Crossing fake out, and then
afterwards maybe
surprise Animal Crossing.
So Fried, you snored at this. This is not the DLC you want.
Edric, and all these predictions are so boring. I don't know
who do you think we're gonna get for DLC pack?
I can't guess. I don't want to guess.
Who do you want?
You know, I've always wanted Travis Touchdown, but I don't think that's happening ever.
I can't imagine that happening. I'd love Travis Touchdown to be in the game.
I think if you do a fake out, it has to be like of a game we know is coming to Switch, and of a property that seems unlikely. So I could kind of see.
That's why it makes sense, because Nintendo, they got a game to promote in September, so that just kind of makes sense.
When does Doom Eternal come out? Is it this year? Because I'm thinking you could do a fake out with Doom Eternal and have Doom Guy in the fucking game.
Yeah.
E3 is for the West, guys.
Oh, you know what? It's the hero of Dragon Quest XI is the Luminary, not Erdrick.
That's not Erdrick. Erdrick is like from BQ.
I think in all the Dragon Quest games, aren't they just, it defaults the name as hero?
Probably.
Who cares?
What DLC Pack 2 is just more costumes for Joker.
Joker's okay, but I'm angry that Persona 5 is not on Switch. That's the only thing.
Right.
I've kind of given up hope that that's going to happen now.
No.
I don't think
enjoy your Muso.
I don't think it's going to happen, because thinking back, 0 mainline Persona games have been ported to anything that's not a PlayStation platform. Even PC. People want these games on PC. They're only on PlayStation.
Yeah, just the sub-franchise, just Q.
Yeah, well, spin-offs seem to be fair games. Spin-offs seem to be like they can go anywhere. But the mainline Persona 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, when they make those, are only PlayStation for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think Sony's paying.
It's down to the point that Nintendo is like making Persona like things in their properties. Like Fire Emblem has like a calendar system, like Persona.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know.
And hey, and anybody who desperately wants some Persona, I haven't played enough to recommend it or not, but the Caligula effect on Switch is from the original creator of Persona, who left the company a while ago.
And if you want something better, Single Gun Say 5 is coming out this year probably.
Yeah, geez, we really need to hear something about that. It's been a long time. It's been 500 years.
Or you can join me in a prayer circle, and we can pray for Tokyo Mirage Sessions port.
A port or two?
I'll take a port.
I'll take a port, because I haven't played that game. That's one of the games I've been wanting to get around.
What if it's a port but with extra censorship?
No, I was going to say a port without it.
Port without censorship.
They have DLC where they actually take costumes away.
It's
like you
literally
pay it and take more costumes out of the game.
There's mosaic on the cleavage and shit. No thanks.
There's a cleavage slider thing for the characters, but it only goes from like where it's naturally out to nothing.
So that I think that's a good. Are we expecting any Wii U ports to be announced?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
All the Wii U ports, right?
All the
What's left? What's left? There's not a lot left, really.
well,
I think there actually are quite a few. Like
Super Mario 3D World.
obviously not counting stuff like Splatoon 1 because Splatoon 2 kind of makes that irrelevant, or
Yeah.
Mario Maker 1 because Mario Maker 2 makes that irrelevant. But there are still like this
Or
3D World.
Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. But there's 3D World.
Yeah, 3D World.
3D
Is
World
it-
is probably the most likely. I think Will said that.
It's
They're basically using it for Super Mario.
It's
you mentioned.
yeah, it's probably the port I want the most out of any potential Wii U ports right
Yeah.
It's the
now.
most likely. They basically ported it to Super Mario Maker 2.
Yeah,
They have like all the
They have all
resources available.
But Tokyo Mirage Sessions, as you mentioned that you want a port of, that's another one.
Yes,
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Would love to see that on Switch. And Wonderful 101.
Pikmin 3.
Pikmin
That's
3.
another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pikmin Trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pikmin
do
3.
the whole trilogy. Yeah, do Pikmin trilogy, Nintendo.
Or how about the elusive Pikmin 4 everybody thinks has been
Well,
promised
we
to
need
them?
the trilogy first. That's why.
I think the game. Am I alone in thinking that when Nintendo said that the next Pikmin game was in development, and people are still holding on thinking that Pikmin 4 is like done, sitting on the shelf somewhere, that they were talking about that 3DS
I don't
game?
think so. I think they were pretty specific. Or I think the fucking guy who reported it was lying or something.
I think there was a statement like Miyamoto made or something that I heard where he denied that the 3DS game was a game he was talking about.
Right.
But
Do you think it's just been sitting on a shelf for what, like
I-
5
they're
years now?
They're reporting the other two games. I'm telling you.
here's what, speaking of it, here's what's going to happen. This is going to be the stinger. This is going to be the Metroid Prime 4 stinger for this direct. This is going to be the Animal Crossing stinger for this direct. This is going to be like, you're getting to the end of the direct and it's going to be like one more thing and it's going to be boom, Pikmin 4 in development.
Wow.
Just in development, nothing
The
shown.
internet breaks.
The internet breaks. Internet breaks.
Nintendo
Miyamoto just gets up on stage and
Nintendo
says,
has won 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Nintendo wins.
Miyamoto's like, I have one more thing to show you. And then it's just like a clip of him before talking about the game being in development. But like nothing else.
It's just footage of him actually gardening.
Yeah. So another game coming up that I think I desperately want myself. I don't know how many other people would fall into the same camp because I think it's been a while since we've had a true sequel to it is Mario Kart. Do you think we're going to get Mario Kart 9 or do you think we're going to get actual DLC for Deluxe or anything?
No, Deluxe, I don't know. I don't think Deluxe is getting DLC. I think they've moved on to Mario Kart 9 development and we might get DLC for Mario Kart 9 eventually. But I think Mario Kart 8 is done. I definitely think it's about.
I think it's still selling like millions.
Oh,
each year.
It's still like in the top list.
That's the only problem with that they shoehorn themselves into.
Yeah, it's still selling. But I think development wise, I really think they're working hard on Mario Kart 9 and they're going to want to get that out.
Do you think they're going to show it?
I think it's going to be announced. I don't know how much we're going to see, but I think they're going to announce it.
I kind of wonder if the best way to handle the continued success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is if they just kind of almost stealth release 9, like they keep it close to the chest until right before it's going to launch. Because if they announce Mario Kart 9, I think their sales are going to stop for 8.
They ship it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe cases, and then you remove the slip case, and underneath it is another one that says Mario Kart 9.
I just think that like if they announce Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart 8 is still selling like crazy. It's still like in the top 10.
Yeah,
this week, so.
you gotta move on at some point. You gotta move on.
But I just wonder if that's going to kill sales until 9 comes out. So I wonder if they're only going to announce 9 when it's almost ready to release. You know.
Alternatively, maybe there isn't a Mario Kart 9. Maybe they're not doing that. Maybe they're just going to let Mario Kart 8 sell for the rest of the generation, and then
they have
the
mobile game coming out this summer, and I played it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's coming out.
Yeah.
I had to jump through hoops to get to play that thing, and it's
Dude,
terrible.
It's not great, but they can fix it. It's not great right now. now.
Well, they'd have to remove the gotcha crap and the wait timers.
No, that's a mobile game. You gotta live with it, man. It's free. Live with it. I play a lot of mobile games, so I'm not into it. The way it plays, it feels wrong.
Yeah, it does. Like literally, like I heard it gets tougher later on, but I think that's based off of earning points. But if you just want to win races, I literally just let Mario drive himself and he got third place. I was like, wow, okay.
You can do that in the other games too. You can put on auto.
That's what I heard. But
on Deluxe, Deluxe does that.
In a mobile game, you can't turn that off, so it's automatic.
But auto gas is turned off. You can turn off manual steering.
There wasn't an option that I could find.
I'm pretty sure there was, but when I was playing through, there were options for the steering and stuff.
Well, there isn't something they need to add.
The drifting is just terrible. That's the problem. Like I drift the wrong way sometimes, and I'm like, well, that's ruined my run.
Yeah, but so what's the consensus then on Mario Kart 9? You think we're going to see it just for E3? Do you think we're going to see Mario Kart 9 at E3?
No.
I'd say 50-50.
Say 50-50? Mm-hmm. I'm starting to feel, just based on the continued success of 8, that they're not going to reveal that game until it's pretty much ready to come out.
Right.
And it's going to be like they'll announce that game and release it within like 2 or 3 months. And I don't know if there's enough space in their schedule this year for that to happen.
Well, they got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if they want to do a Pikmin 4 stinger, then they probably won't do a Mario Kart 9 stinger. I don't know.
So let's talk some third party. We'd already mentioned Dragon Quest XI's. You think that'll be in the Direct?
Well, yeah, it's a Nintendo published game being released this year. They're definitely gonna show it in the Direct.
Do you think we're going to see something full in the Direct for it, or do you think it's going to be part of like a third party montage?
No, it's first party. Nintendo's publishing it. It's not going to be a third party montage.
It's third party developed.
But Nintendo is publishing it. Nintendo is going to put all the games they're publishing in one basket, and then third party published games, and you got to go by who's publishing. You don't. But
is Nintendo publishing that just in America, or are they publishing it in Japan as well?
No, it's just in America because Square Enix handles it in Japan.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to say, like, I think it would still fall into a third party thing for the presentation, because to audiences, it's not a Nintendo game, it's a Square Enix game.
Well, you are incorrect about that. But anyway, But anyway, I think we are going to see a new trailer for Dragon Quest XI. They obviously want that to sell. Nintendo wouldn't bother publishing it if they didn't want people to buy it. So they're gonna have a new trailer. What was the third party game that we had?
Shin Megami Tensei 5?
I think it's high time we heard something, right?
Please, give me one trailer. I don't care if it doesn't release this year.
You talk about Pokemon having their own directs and stuff, though. Megaten, is never never revealed at Western events.
I think society has changed. Like, Persona is a multi-million-dollar selling game. Why can't Shin Megami Tensei be a multi-million-dollar?
Right.
Property.
You're saying they'll make a push similar to Monster Hunter World or something?
They'll make a push for it. I'm not sure. Well, I'd love to see a trailer here. I'd like to see gameplay.
I would too. I just kind of I always feel like maybe that'll be a Tokyo Game Show thing, you know?
I just wonder where there's room for this game this year. That's the whole thing.
Do you think we're getting it this year?
No.
I'm going to say probably not at this point.
We would have heard something of it. Like, we would have gotten some details or something about the game if it was coming out this year at this point.
I think it's too big to not have its own month, and there's no months left.
Yeah, it's 2020. If that, who even knows? I mean, I don't know. They've been so radio silent about this game. It's hard to even guess.
It seems like the kind of game that would work really well as a spring game, you know? Maybe April or May, something like that. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, ideally, it would be a great, October game.
Yeah, ideally, yeah.
But then on the other hand, horror stuff is more in Japan, is more of a thing for summers.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And it's a very Japan-focused franchise. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, it might be a summer 2020 release.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see anything from it, though, at the show?
I can only say I hope so, but it's been radio silence. I don't know what Atlas wants to do. If Atlas wants to focus on Persona 5R and just marketing that, and I don't.
True.
Yeah,
I just want to hear more music.
Maybe it'll be a Shin Megami Tensei 5, and you'll be like all psyched for the reveal, and then that will be like the fake out Smash Brothers.
Maybe.
Actually, a Megaten character in Smash Bros. Would make sense, and like not one of the main characters, but like one of the demons would totally make sense.
I feel like though we got Joker, so like
what's the white one with like the blue like wings or something that you always see? It's kind of like the mascot for the franchise.
Jack Frost?
Yeah. I could see Jack Frost as like a Smash character.
Jack Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is go out, buy a Virtual Boy, buy a copy of Jack Brothers. It's coming back. Jack Brothers remake for Switch.
They did have a video game.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else besides kind of like these games that we either already know about or that we've speculated about that you think we're going to see in this Nintendo Direct or the Treehouse?
The Witcher 3.
You think that's real?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know if it's real or not, but it's interesting because we got those leaks, and now we have the voice actor for Geralt on Twitter retweeting a mock-up of Witcher 3 on the Switch and saying, who else wants to see this with a winky face?
Yeah. I don't think he wouldn't have to know. They wouldn't have to like contact him for additional work, you know?
Unless they added like some new content and needed him to voice the new.
I don't think they're going to do that. The rumor is it's a Panic Button port, so it's not like it's CD Projekt Red working on it, you know?
Right.
But Panic Button's a great one to do a port, you know? But, like kind of the second, if it is Panic Button doing it, you have to kind of rule out any new content, you know?
Yeah, it's probably going to be the Game of the Year edition with, like all the DLC. But, you know, it'd be pretty cool.
All the DLC except for like one pack, and then they'll call it The Witcher 3 Complete. And Fried will be furious.
Yeah, Fried.
I unfurious myself over, what was it, Saints Row?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That DLC pack wasn't that important, but then the game came out and it ran like trash.
Yeah, I heard they really like screwed up that port.
It runs so terribly.
God damn.
Apparently they fixed a lot of it with a patch, because I just played it for the first time last night, because I bought it, like pre-ordered it like a while ago, just like under the idea of like, even if I don't play it, like I'm fine just kind of making the financial donation because I love Saints Row 3 so much. So I'm just like I play it on PC, so I'm totally fine with it. And I got the PC version for like $2 or something on Steam. So I don't mind losing some money on that, because I've gotten my money's worth on the PC one like many times.
So I have to check it out then, because when I first saw it, gameplay of it ran like almost a slideshow.
Well, speaking of THQ and the Switch, I also heard a rumor that Darksiders 4 is going to be announced, and there's going to be a Switch version.
Well, we need to get Darksiders 3 too, right, for the series?
I don't know. Apparently, they're skipping that. That's just what I read, that they're announcing Darksiders 4, and there's going to be a Switch version.
Well, they said that they're doing some announcements over the next couple days, right?
It was the Battle for Bikini Bottom remastered. That's on the Switch. No, it's real.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's the first reveal.
SpongeBob Games remastered.
It's the Banjo-Kazooie we all wanted. So.
Yeah, it's Banjo. Speaking of, there's some Banjo-Kazooie rumors going around.
Well, there's the rumor of him as Smash DLC too. So yeah,
so it's either going to be Erdrick from Dragon Quest or Banjo-Kazooie. That's your only.
Well, if you believe any of the leaks, I mean, it could be. I don't think anybody was predicting Joker.
No, nobody. No, like literally all like the best leakers did not have like Joker in their list. You know, even after they were supposedly confirmed for being so prescient to predict Ken for Smash Brothers.
Oh,
most obvious prediction, yeah.
Yeah.
The second they showed that they're putting a focus on Echo Fighters again, it's like anybody who didn't think Ken was coming was just a fucking moron, I think. As they even said when they announced him, he's like the original Echo Fighter, you know.
So for other third parties we could probably see, I would think, Doom Eternal. I think you're gonna see how that looks on Switch.
That's true. They're going to show off Doom Eternal because that is definitely coming to Switch. They're
They
probably
also announced that Wolfenstein, right? That the new Wolfenstein's going to be on Switch too.
So yeah, you're probably gonna like both of those showing off a little.
Yeah.
Tiny little video. Maybe some gameplay on Treehouse.
Well, when they initially announced, Wolfenstein and Doom for the Switch, they kind of put them together like in the same announcement. So yeah, I could totally see that happening again.
And one hope is that the Call of Duty rumor is totally real, and that we get Modern Warfare on Switch. Because I'm desperate for a style, a first-person shooter style like that.
I don't think that's a $200 SKU at GameSpot.
Yeah. Yeah, $200 Modern Warfare Night Vision Goggles edition, whatever. I bought that. I think I bought Modern Warfare 2. Well, one of my cousins bought like the special edition that came with Night Vision Goggles, and I used those almost weekly because my parents would steal my DS or something before I went to sleep. So I would use them to go sneak into the room and find it wherever they hid it. And I would, so they worked, and they're pretty awesome.
Oh man, we need a TV series about your life, right?
It's like it was like what's that Splinter Cell? Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any other things? Any other things you think that we're going to see at Nintendo?
I think we don't see Capcom. They continue to not be a presence on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Or they announce a test. Like an actual test. Like they're gonna
No, Capcom literally has nothing to announce. They've already stated they're focusing on
Iceborne.
Yeah, Iceborne. That's like their game. That's from now until next March.
That's a great strategy for a major publisher to take.
Thank God. I'm going to tell you when
They said they have no major games planned outside of like Iceborne.
What about non-major games?
Yeah, weren't there some rumored stuff that was supposed to be coming? Like some of the anthology stuff wasn't there supposed to be coming to Switch too, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know of anything.
Like Disney Afternoon still isn't on Switch, right?
Yeah, that's never coming. I gave up on that. I raged on Twitter and they didn't listen to me, and they ignored me. And I remember like one of the producers on that like made a joke, like posted a post mocking Switch owners, and then that was the last of it. Like it never came out.
Yeah, Capcom's got to be seriously, they have to have been in a competition with Konami to make the dumbest possible move. Like some kind of weird billionaire betting club.
I don't want to download NES games and play them on PS4. I want to play them on the Switch.
Yeah.
If I want to play NES games on a console I'll just play my NES or my NES hacked NES Classic. Like it's more useful to me to have them on a portable system.
So here's another way of looking at the Nintendo Direct thing. Recently, in the last, I think maybe 2 or 3 big Nintendo Directs, they've done a few and it's out now kind of reveals. Do you think we're going to get anything like that at this Direct?
No. I can't think of anything.
Town.
Actually, that kind of makes sense.
I do think the next DLC character for Smash Bros. Is coming out this month, but it's not going to be it's out now. They're not going to do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if they have another tinier game. No, they have nothing really on this horizon.
You know what they could even do smaller is they could add more games to the Nintendo.
Although they can announce something small out of nowhere, and announce that it's available today, like they did with Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Literally, out of nowhere. You can't predict.
Or even smaller scale, they could just add more games to the Nintendo, the NES Online thing,
That's what they're going to do. They're going to announce Ice Climber Remastered.
SP. No, just Ice Climber SP.
Yeah, it's going to be out now.
They already announced the 3 for this month. They could announce the SNES being added to the lineup.
Oh no! Ice Climber wouldn't be an NES game; it'd be a remake.
Oh.
Switch.
Why not just remaster the what was it, the Wii version of that, the Rock and Roll Climbers or whatever?
Oh, I remember that. The one that needed the balance board.
Urban Champion remastered for Switch. Yeah. That's why
that got a 3D Classics release. So.
That did, yeah. That did.
Embarrassing. I can't believe that happened.
That's Nintendo's Altered Beast, basically.
Pretty much.
It's going to show up every time they do like any kind of compilation or any way of playing classic games.
I always thought that game was good, and then I played it, and it wasn't.
No, it's not.
Which one, Altered Beast or?
No,
the Urban Champion.
Altered Beast has some qualities about it.
Yeah, Altered Beast is not a good game, but it's much better than Urban Champion.
Yeah, you can play it.
Like, you'd get some fun out of Altered Beast.
I guess that's it for Nintendo, right? Anybody else have anything else they want to throw out?
Yeah, there's not really much else to add. No. I was gonna say, like, speaking of NES Online, yeah, I do hope they announce SNES Online at some point. Not sure.
I would pay more for that.
Yes.
Seriously, I would pay more if they added a charge to the like oh, that's not included with the Nintendo Online subscription. You have to pay more. I would seriously pay more for SNES Online.
Did you guys see the games?
Not that I want to encourage them in their behavior of doing that.
Did you guys
would
see the games we're getting for June?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a blockbuster lineup.
Yeah.
They've run out, basically. So
yeah.
Now's the time.
Oh, Double Dragon 2 is a great game, though. Legit. But Sea Connection is, and then Volleyball is just, I don't care. Nintendo, I don't care.
Yeah, they've kind of hit majority on what we want from the NES, right? There's really nothing else.
I would say Castlevania, but Konami's got that covered with the collection now, so we don't need that on NES Online. Konami's got us covered, and same
deal with Mega Man.
Same deal with Mega Man. Capcom has got us covered, so yeah, there's not really much else.
Disney Afternoon Collection games.
Yeah, Disney Afternoon Collection games. Yeah, we need those. Get on it, somebody.
Oh man. So SNES one, that would be cool. I can't dare to hope. The second they announced that like all these NES games start coming out, I'm like, I really don't want any of these. Like, where's the SNES ones? I feel weird if my Nintendo system doesn't have Super Metroid on it. It just doesn't feel right.
Right, exactly. It's coming. It's like 100% it's coming. It's just a question of when. Like, they seem to really be taking their time.
Maybe they'll make another dump of Final Fantasy reveals, but this time actual like or SNES ones like 6.
Right.
I want a 6, and I want Final Fantasy 6 again.
Well, I don't know if we're going to get any Square game. It's weird because Square was on the Wii Virtual Console, and apparently they were on the Wii U Virtual Console in Japan, but they didn't release like anything in the US. They released like Secret of Mana, and that was it for the Virtual Console and the Wii U in the US.
Well, that's another one. Wasn't there a rumor for the was it the Mana series?
Oh yeah,
Collection of Mana.
Collection of Mana. Yeah, it's confirmed.
And that's coming for Switch as well?
Yep. Well, that's coming for North America now, so yeah.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say like if we do get an SNES Online that you are going to get Final Fantasy VI, because Square seems to prefer to just want to resell these games on their own and not put them on these services. Because Square thinks they could get more money by having you go on Steam and buy Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, then just put that on Switch.
They could just do a Final Fantasy, like they've already got Final Fantasy 7 through 12 on the Switch. So why not do like a Final Fantasy collection where they have Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and then they could have them all on the Switch. Like, just bundle them together, like, for $60. Say, here's all the first 6 Final Fantasy games. They can make their money, and then, and everybody can be happy. I don't understand why they can't just...
And then they can release an offline version of Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah.
It's just the most boring game ever. Just offline, there's like no... But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Square. I think if we see something from Square like that, it's going to end up in some like random Nintendo Direct rather than at E3.
Yeah, probably.
And because that's how they did like their big Final Fantasy.
Speaking of, that's another thing. They still got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remake coming.
I don't think we're going to see more from that.
Probably
it's just going to come out. It's just a port, we're not going to get like additional content. We're not going to see like an E3 mention of that. Can't imagine it. If we do, that's such a waste. Unless they like drop a surprise and do.
You might not be looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see how the game plays without needing like a game, like 4 Game Boy Advances.
See what's going to happen is they're going to make it look like that's what's happening, and then it's going to be a Smash reveal for the DLC.
It's gonna be
You can play as the urn that keeps the shadows at bay.
Yes, it's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best Smash character too. It's gonna be so OP.
So let's move on from Nintendo then. What are you guys excited about outside of Nintendo World? I mean, Sony's going to have an amazing presence, right?
Ubisoft is going to be showing off the new Watch Dogs Legion, which is confirmed.
Is this one supposed to be good?
Well, I don't know.
Are they literally just being 4chan hackers now? Legion?
Yeah. Apparently the premise is it's set in London, a post-Brexit London, and it's a dystopia. And what you're doing is you're recruiting people, and the idea is you can play as any NPC in the game. So you can walk up to any random NPC, recruit them, and then you can play as them.
Okay. So could you just walk up to some 70-year-old person doing gardening in their house?
Sure. Well, in the previous games you could
super hacker.
In the previous games you could check their political affiliations or their quirks, so you can find out if someone's a furry or who plays video games. So I guess in this one you could just be those people instead of just
exactly
them or something like that.
You can be the furry.
Yeah.
In this game.
Great.
That's going to be the real subtitle of the game. It's going to be Watch Dogs Be the Furry.
You're going to see Guy Fawkes masks in this trailer. I bet.
100%.
Or they're gonna do something like Mr. Robot did and just make some facsimile.
And I'm gonna groan because it's so cliche. I almost wish the Wachowski brothers did not adapt that into a film at this point because it's Jesus.
That was the Wachowskis? Oh my god.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Damn.
The original graphic novel was Alan Moore. It's a great. I mean, it's a great novel. I mean, that's a great story. But freaking the edgelords really glommed onto it. Damn.
It's like Guy Fawkes mask with a fedora.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we ended up getting out of it. So anything else that people are psyched about for this E3, or is kind of Sony going away from it kind of really dampered non-Nintendo excitement for
I don't know. I haven't really kept up with the other consoles to know. Microsoft has a lot of surprises. I think
didn't they say they have a whole ton of first party announcements?
There's 21 exclusives around something like that.
I think we're going to see Battletoads. Obviously, last year they only showed a logo. I think they're going to announce a new Banjo-Kazooie.
Mm-hmm,
they're going to announce it, and it's going to be amazing. And
what about their streaming service?
What streaming service?
Their game streaming service.
Oh, xCloud. I don't know. They'll talk about that. They'll talk about xCloud for sure. It's just going to be any game that's on Xbox, you can also stream.
Yeah, but the rumor was that they were leaning into work with Nintendo and Sony and other people about having it on just pretty much everything.
Well, it's interesting because the deal that they made with Sony wasn't so much to have Xbox xCloud on Sony platforms. It was so Sony is using Microsoft servers to host their own streaming service.
So Sony bought one of the first game streaming services, and then now they're just renting space from another.
Yeah, they're renting space from Microsoft. Apparently, there was an interview with the new head of Sony Interactive Entertainment today, where he mentioned something about Sony signed a memorandum of understanding with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Memorandum of understanding. That sounds like a war treaty or something. It's mutually assured destruction.
We'll destroy your servers. I don't know. But apparently that they're going to do that. There was a rumor that Nintendo was signing a similar deal with Microsoft, but that hasn't been confirmed at all. But as far as Microsoft putting Xbox games, game streaming on other platforms, I think that's an inevitability. I think you're going to see that happen.
Well, that goes back to Nintendo Direct. Do you think we're going to see some Microsoft games coming to Switch because we already got Cuphead and there were rumors about other ones?
Hell yeah! So I think you see Miyamoto on stage at Microsoft's event, and he's announcing Halo for Switch. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Big prediction.
No, it's going to be Ori and the Blind Forest. I heard a while back that Ori was coming for Switch.
Why not Master Chief in the blind
Yeah,
for it?
yeah. Why not Cortana and
Yeah.
whatever?
So the original rumor was Cuphead and Ori were going to be announced for Switch, and then Cuphead was announced, but Ori is nowhere to be seen. So I think we're going to get that.
Mhm. But I want Halo.
Yeah, everybody wants Halo. I don't
Just the
think
first
we'll
Halo,
have-
not remastered.
The first Halo still has a great one.
Any Halo.
And running it like 15 frames a second like the original did.
No, it's going to be a remaster of Halo DS, the canceled Halo game.
The GoldenEye hack mod.
Yeah.
No, it was like there was an actual Halo game being developed for Nintendo DS that got canceled.
Well, what it was a company made like a demo as a pitch.
Yeah, they pitched. Yeah, that's true.
I remember Matt's blog posts, and I'm pretty sure it was still a GoldenEye hack mod on DS.
Yeah. What had happened was, this company made a mock-up of Halo for DS and pitched it to Microsoft. And Microsoft wasn't interested.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
You just don't usually hear about it.
But no Halo, nothing too crazy with the Microsoft and the Switch. Nothing too crazy yet. That's gonna come later, sometime down the road. But Microsoft is going to announce their next gen, the Scarlet. They're going to announce more details. I don't know if we're going to get the full details, like the launch price, but they're probably going to announce the specs. Probably going to announce some games for it. There's probably going to be everything's going to be cross-platform at first. So they're going to be they're going to show Halo Infinite, and then at the end of Halo Infinite trailer, they're going to announce that, or actually at the end when they announce Scarlet officially, they're going to say, and this game is coming to Scarlet, and Gears of War 5 is also going to come to Scarlet. They're going to do a lot of that. You're going to hear a lot of that. All these games are going to be cross-gen. There's not going to be anything exclusive to Scarlet at first, at least not announced at this press conference.
Think they're going to show anything?
Hard to say.
Show what the graphics are supposedly going to look like.
You know what? That's probably what that's probably going to be Halo Infinite. They're probably going to show a new Halo Infinite trailer with the most amazing graphics, and then they're going to come out and say,
nobody's going to notice because of diminishing returns.
Yeah. And then they're going to come out and say that's next gen.
It's not one Master Chief, it's two Master Chiefs on screen, so...
Yeah.
2 times the Master Chief rendering power.
It's two Master Chiefs duct taped together.
Also, they tweeted out something.
With a butter knife between them.
They tweeted out something today. They said, we invited something new to Xbox E3 this year.
Yeah, Miyamoto.
Yeah.
I think Ubisoft has probably another collaboration project in the works with Nintendo.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't know what's going to be.
Hey, there's a question. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, they'll definitely, Ubisoft is definitely going to show that. If it's not at Microsoft press conference, which it might also be at Microsoft's press conference.
I mean, that pretty much wraps up.
Well, you're forgetting Square Enix. They got press conference that's taking over Sony's spot.
Yeah, but it's more of Eidos now, right?
Well, they're going to show off Avengers, the new Avengers game they got working on. And
you guys have any expectations for that?
It's going to be a games as a service game, and it's going to be some bullshit. I don't care.
I don't watch Avengers stuff.
I don't care.
Well, I'm going to watch Marvel.
I'm clutching my pearl.
I'm more interested in, of course, Devolver's little video.
Yeah, I'm interested in what Devolver does. I think I'm actually excited for it. Square's probably going to show off a lot more gameplay and information about Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I think that's going to come out next year.
They're going to show off Tifa?
Here's my bold prediction.
Yeah, Tifa.
During the Nintendo Direct, they're going to say, and now Suda 51.
Oh,
Suda
yes.
51 will show up on the Nintendo Direct, and they'll say, I'm here at the Nintendo Direct to announce No More Heroes 3, exclusively on PlayStation 4.
Oh, stop. Everyone here has to buy Travis Strikes Again and make sure
that'd be odd.
The other versions.
That'd be an odd announcement because there's no Sony press conference.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that shit gets announced this C3. He has to have something. He's been teasing stuff, but I don't know if it's for No More Heroes game.
If he's doing it, man, I can't imagine he's that far along.
I don't know, man. He's teasing it hard. He's basically got a playable demo.
But what about all the amazing stuff that's happening at the at the EA press conference?
Yeah, everything's monetized and free to play.
Like all the awesome stuff like EA shows like every year that makes it the best conference of E3.
Yeah, all of their games are now like a free to play model, except you have to buy the game too.
Apparently they do have the Star Wars game that's going to be single player and like no multiplayer or microtransactions, so that might be worth getting excited about.
I don't believe it. I think
they're going to announce the microtransactions thing is not real. The game's actually called Star Wars Loot Boxes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why I say might, because I don't know, like, I'm just like, there's some bullshit. Like, there has to be.
No company is as addicted to microtransactions and loot boxes as EA is. Nobody.
Maybe they'll just release like $1,000 special edition and they'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Get a lightsaber with your.
I'm excited to see more of Cyberpunk 2020. That looks like it's going to shaping up to be an amazing game. It's definitely going to live up to its name. It's definitely coming out in 2020. Well, it's actually like Cyberpunk 20 something.
The original like pen and paper Cyberpunk was Cyberpunk 2020. This one is 2077.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know, like, much else about.
I don't know. Bethesda, Doom, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Bethesda's got press.
Not Doom the game, you're saying Bethesda is doomed.
Oh, well, yeah.
Bethesda's just gonna talk about Doom and, Wolfenstein. They're not gonna talk about anything Elder Scrolls or
Starfield.
Starfield isn't, they're not gonna show that. Those are
for the big show, the Game Awards.
Yeah, that's the Game Awards. Yeah, Starfield is gonna be shown off at the Game Awards.
Yeah. Right. It's weird how that's become like the big show for Bethesda now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
they hold back at E3 and do a big blowout at the Game Awards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Skyrim was revealed at the Game Awards originally.
The first Skyrim, like the original release?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think I watched it back then. I don't think I had cable. Was that when I was still on Spike?
Probably.
Yeah, it was back when I was on Spike TV.
This is when they were trying to do it with like a live audience and like the Mountain Dew inspired like crowd.
I remember Jessica Alba coming on stage and saying she liked Mario.
Yeah, yeah. I love
Mario.
Okay, yeah, they announced it at E3, but the big reveal was on Spike's annual Video Game Awards.
Yikes,
yeah. That's when they showed the trailer and everything. Okay, yeah, so yeah, Bethesda likes to do shit at the Game Awards rather than at E3, which is weird, but okay.
But that's it, man. That's what we got coming up for E3. Those are our predictions and what we think's coming and what we're excited for or not excited for. I'm honestly like, I'm pretty much only really interested in what Nintendo's doing and Devolver. I love Devolver's.
Yeah, I love Devolver's,
Devolver
press conference.
Eventually winning out this joke that everyone's already dropped out of the press conference loop except Microsoft at this point.
There's a few non-Nintendo things I'm interested in, but like it gets thinner and thinner every year.
Do you think they announced anything this weekend during their tournaments?
I don't think so. No.
Is it this weekend that they're doing all their tournaments?
They're doing the Invitational for Mario Maker and Splatoon and Smash Bros.
Maybe for Mario Maker. I could see them revealing something in Mario Maker.
Mm-hmm.
Like showing a new theme or something, you know? I could see them doing that because they do something like that for the first Mario Maker. Like at the tournament they showed like a new theme or something like that. Back then the themes weren't as big of a deal though.
Oh, I don't think so.
Some breaking news. Blizzard canceled a game that they've been working on for the past 2 years.
Warcraft Classic? Is it gone?
I know. A developer at Blizzard posted on Twitter. He said, "Today is my last day at Blizzard. Unfortunately, you'll never see what we made over the past 2 years. That's game dev. But we'll always have Overwatch." And
Man, but why doesn't Blizzard just make World of Overwatch and be done with it, and then just change their name to World of Overwatch?
Yeah, right.
Overwatch is losing its player base. That's why. That's why they're going back to World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
At least this doesn't sting as much as StarCraft Ghost, because they didn't show whatever this was. I remember being so hyped for StarCraft Ghost for the GameCube, and then it never happened.
Yeah, I didn't care. I was completely uninterested in that.
But according to Kotaku, Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, or whatever they end up calling the next Overwatch, are still very much alive.
What?
Yeah.
Overwatch is coming to mobile, so it's probably going to be on Switch eventually.
You know, I'm surprised it hasn't come to Switch already. It seems like such an obvious thing.
PUBG already has a mobile demo out, so.
PUBG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PUBG had a mobile game for a while.
Oh yeah, they've had a mobile version for a while.
And now that Microsoft and Nintendo are like this, it's like good.
Does anybody play PUBG anymore?
No, I don't even like battle royale games.
I don't.
Fortnite kind of completely ate that game's lunch, didn't it?
Yeah, it basically, Fortnite basically came in and took the game's entire, user base, basically. Like, I don't hear about PUBG anymore, I hear about Fortnite.
And now every time I see a kid doing one of those Fortnite dances, I just want to, like, slam their head into a fucking plane propeller.
PUBG is like, MySpace to, Fortnite's Facebook.
Where's Google Plus?
Google Plus is like, whatever.
Oh shit! The Google Plus thing is happening. The Google Stadia thing is happening today.
Oh, that's right. We forgot. We almost forgot about Google Stadia. And
that's right. All the exclusives and shit.
So what's your predictions for Google tomorrow?
They're not going to be at E3. That's today, isn't it?
It's today.
No, it's tomorrow at noon.
It's not today? I thought it was the same day as the Pokemon.
I thought it was today.
No, it's tomorrow at noon.
Nothing, I don't care.
I don't know.
Nothing, I don't care. I'm interested to see the pricing because that's really what's going to convince me if I'm even going to like use the service. Like, because my thinking is if I could use it to like rent games, like to just like pay $5 to play a game for a week, I'll probably do that. I'm not going to buy a $60 game that's just sits on Google's servers. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, you can't.
Well, you have to remember, Google's like the king of ad support too. So this could very well be a completely free service.
I don't think so, because I don't think because the licensing fees that they have to pay to the other publishers and developers.
If they figured out a way to ad support it and data collect in the way that they want to do it to make money on it, they could do it. They've given away much more expensive products.
Well, they can make money off of it, but like the publishers and the developers have to make money off of it too.
Well, yeah, but they pay them off of percentages of what they make. The same way YouTube creators get paid a chunk of
I do think we are getting some announcements for Stadia. It's been leaked that Destiny 2 is coming to Stadia. It's going to have cross-play with Xbox, PC, and Stadia.
The one main thing I'll say in defense of Google with the Stadia stuff is that even if it looks like absolute shit now, even if like there's frame rate stutters and problems, when it comes to like a technical prowess with like code and servers and shit, never doubt what Google's capable of. They are like way ahead of the game, like a decade ahead of everybody else when it comes to machine learning, when it comes to server. In every way, they're like way ahead of everybody. So even like Microsoft, like having experience in gaming with Xbox, they might have experience with gaming, but Google has way more experience with servers than they do.
Also, I think Capcom's going to announce Monster Hunter World Iceborne for Stadia tomorrow.
Oh my god. Another kick in the teeth.
Another kick in the teeth, yeah.
With the Stadia announcements tomorrow, I could totally see Google also doing the like I was asking if Nintendo was going to do, I could totally see them doing the and it's out now thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not out now because service isn't out. So the service is launching
out tomorrow.
Services they've already said the service is launching in the fall. They said that at the Game Developers Conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I always say just never doubt Google when it comes to, like, the technical issues like that, Even if there are technical issues, like, that's kind of the way Google works. Google pushes stuff out when it's not ready. there's issues, and then like within like a day they'll resolve most of them. That's like, it's just the way they are as a company. They frequently do that. Like that's always been the comparison between them and Apple, is that Apple like will get out like, oh, they finally have 4G. Remember how long it took them to get 4G into their phones? They waited until it was like a really polished experience, whereas like Google was like right on the front end of that. Like the second 4G was available, it was in their phones and it was out. And then it took a while, there were some issues and they corrected them and fixed them. That's just the way Google is. Google they don't wait until things are perfect. They put things out right away and then refine over time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like try out the Google thing or something and there's like frame drops and there's other issues and stuff, don't just write that off as like, oh, well, obviously this is going to be shit forever. It's like, that's just the way Google is. Google will put out stuff that's just not working correctly yet. And then over time we'll refine it and clean it up. That's just the way they work. It's different from other companies. But yeah, like I don't necessarily have any interest in Stadia. I'm just saying never underestimate them on a technical level, you know?
I just want to know what the pricing is, what the value proposition is. They did not talk about that.
It's going to be cheap, man. That's Google's thing, man. Google is always about affordability.
So I'm guessing there's going to be a subscription like Game Pass style, and it's probably not good. Yeah, you're probably right. It's going to be like cheap too.
It'll be cheaper, or like I said, it could be free. Like, don't write off the possibility of it being free. Google
is just a storefront, right?
Services than video games.
It's just a storefront, so I don't know what you would be paying for anyway, really.
Yeah, well, you're paying for access to these games is what you're paying for.
Well, I don't pay for Steam, so I don't understand.
Well, the question is it a storefront or is it more of like a Netflix?
Right.
You know?
Well, the difference between
service with all the games.
I see where you're at, Fried, but the difference is like with Steam, you're buying a game and you're putting it on your computer. These games aren't going to your computer. These games are sitting on Google servers forever. Yeah.
Forgot about the main gimmick of this thing.
Yes, yeah. They're sitting on Google servers and you're streaming them, which means that you have no real ownership because, you know, like if Google servers go down or if Google decides to remove the game from their servers or they can't have the game on their server, then you lose access to the game whether you purchased it or not.
Or Google does what they frequently do, which is just go, you know what, we don't like the service, we're closing it.
Exactly. If they're just going to close the service, you're going to lose all your games and tough shit. So that's why I don't like that idea of like purchasing games through the service. But if I could rent a game where I know like I'm going to have limited time access for like a very cheap price, then I would totally do that.
I was playing Irregularly Lost the other day.
Of like all internet ad revenue.
Right.
So I think there's a good chance it's going to be ad supported and free.
So you're saying Irregularly Lost?
Yeah, I was playing it the other day and Google's servers like partially went down and
I remember, yeah.
Like the game glitched so terribly I couldn't play it for like a day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when I was going to edit the TV podcast. I ended up editing it until like yesterday or something, and the reason why is because when I went to edit, the Google servers were down, so I couldn't download the audio track. But yeah,
I think that covers everything.
Yeah, that's it.
Much else.
That's it. So, who knows when we'll do another one of these? As I said, these are kind of irregularly scheduled. We kind of just do them when we have time to do them and when there's something interesting to talk about. Initially, we would say, oh, let's check back in after E3 and talk about what we've seen and stuff. But you know what? Like, actually talking about what was shown is kind of like less interesting than speculating.
It is.
So we usually lose motivation to do that. So I'm not going to promise anything like we're going to be after E3 to react to everything, because usually that's less interesting. But yeah, that's it. So thank you everybody for listening.